Hello everyone, welcome to Data Squash. In this series of videos, we're going to be talking about regression analysis and we're going to be talking about its applications using Python. In this video specifically, we're going to be introducing simple linear regression. So if you're interested, just keep on watching. Alright, so let's get started. So what is regression analysis? As you can see here, it says that regression analysis is just a statistical method for investigating functional relationships among variables. Well, that sounds so complicated, but it's really not. Alright, so just let's talk about an example to make it easier for you. So in this example, it says what factors influence the blood cholesterol level? So this might be a data scientist question. And they might be wondering, all right, what are the variables or factors that affect the blood cholesterol level? And these factors could be body weight or smoking or the age of the person. So we're trying to understand in linear regression what is the relationship between body weight or smoking or age with the blood cholesterol level. So this is what linear regression analysis tries to answer. Now we're going to talk about simple linear regression. In simple linear regression, we have only one x and one y. So the y here is the dependent variable, or also called the response variable, and y is the variable that we're trying to predict. This is the variable that we're interested in and we want to know more about. On the other hand, there's a one independent variable, and that's why it's called simple linear regression, because it's just one independent variable. In normal linear regression, there's more than one x, but in this case, it's just one x. And the independent variable is usually the variable that we use to find y. So the objective of simple linear regression is to use x to predict y. All right, so I have a very small example for you. So here we say a question, how does advertising affect sales? This might be a question for a company that wants to know how much to spend on advertising and how that affects their sales. So a good and interesting question that they might ask in the beginning, does advertising even affect sales? So that's the first question that they want to know. And if you think about it, this question also means, is there a relationship? Essentially, is there a relationship between advertisements and sales? All right, so that's the first question that the company might want to ask. And then the second question, if yes, if actually there is a relationship, then what is the type of relationship? What type of relationship is there? You might ask, what do you mean by what type of relationship? So maybe it's a positive relationship, which means that when we increase the money we spend on advertisements, this means that the sales are going to increase. So this is a positive relationship, or there's a positive correlation between money spent on advertisements and sales. Or there is a negative relationship, which is basically if we increase the money we spend on advertisements, that will actually bring down our sales somehow. So this is another question that you want to ask. And then the last question is, what is the strength of the relationship? And what does that mean is, I want to know by how much, if I change the advertisements or the money I spend on advertisements by, let's say, 10%, then by how much is that going to affect my sales? So not only that I know that, for example, it's a positive relationship or it's a negative relationship, also the more important question is, okay, if I change the money I spent on advertisements by 10%, how much is that going to increase my sales by? So this is also a very important question, because that would actually help the company be able to understand how much they should increase or decrease the money they spend on advertisements. All right. So to solve this question, we might need to use simple linear regression. So in this example, what do you think would be the response variable? So I'm gonna guess that you guessed it right. So the response variable, or our y, is basically the sales. Why, you might ask? Good question. So basically, because sales is the variable that we do not know and we want to predict. We want to see how can we influence it, how can we change it, or how is it affected. And we use the x to do that. And so in our case, the x is gonna be, you guessed it right, it's gonna be the advertisements. So the independent variable, also known as the x, is gonna be the advertisements. I think I'm writing this right. I don't know if this is the correct spelling, but it's fine. All right, so this is all for this example. So I hope by now you at least got a very small idea about what we're trying to do.